It's a big day, people. It's a big day on a Thursday, especially if you're a nerd. We're going to do the hockey today. Now, yes, we'll get to the Lions at 3 o'clock. We've got some blitzes to do and different things. But look, the Red Wings do open the season, and Tigers are done. We know we're in the midst of the ultimate excitement, which is Lions. And we also know that we have more hope that District Detroit will actually have functioning things in it than the Pistons doing anything. So that tells you where we're at there. But see, with the Red Wings, we're in a different place. The Red Wings, we think it is time to fly. It's time to rise. And I wanted to just ask a very simple question, not only of Kenny, but of the hockey elite. We are giving you guys lead billing on a Thursday. We're diving right in and doing the hockey. This is playoffs or bust, right? Like, we're not going to be in the business of making a bunch of excuses now, are we? The Red Wings have to make the playoffs, or Steve Eiserman should face some stiff criticism. Now, I would like to hear from the people on this. No one's using the F word. That's not what we're talking about. But I think what I'd like to do is, if the Wings don't make the playoffs, if we could kindly lower the miniature Eiserman down from the cross and we could just have a real conversation. I understand the East is difficult. I understand they play in the tougher division in the East.
Correct.
But here's the other thing. We're entering now, year 5 of Eiserplan? This is year 5, correct? We got to Brinkett. We had the offseason, spent a bunch of money. He got more of his guys, more grinders, more depth. We got the farm system right. We were a playoff team for 18 hours last year. 18 blessed hours. We were a playoff team until Ottawa smoked us like a pack of Marlboro Reds. But here's the deal. Isn't it playoffs or bust? 248-539-9797, or we got to clip the Angels' wings.
Well, that's just the problem. I don't think that people are ready for the bust, because the bust would mean that you're going to have to go and question an icon, a hero.
Wah.
And you're going to have to say, well, Stevie, what's going on? I mean, he's already come out at the beginning of the season and kind of lowered the bar. And, yeah, we're still in a rebuild, but kind of in a rebuild. The way I took it, don't expect a lot because we play in the Atlantic and hopefully we could do something. I guess if the Wings are in a weird spot, Mike, because I think if anybody else was running this, you would be demanding more. But I think fans are more so, we trust in Steve, and he's our guy. You're right. For the Wings, I guess the goal is to just make the playoffs, to claim one of the last spots, maybe get to 90 points at the end of the season.
Man, you're using a lot of words just to say the obvious. You're saying the people are soft. Just say it.
Okay.
The old Rico would have said it.
I know. But you know what? I was hurt yesterday.
That's okay. I want to go to Kenny Cott. No one's been a more ardent supporter of the Eiserplan. No one's a bigger hockey fan. I don't think what I'm saying is unfair. The mission is the playoffs, and if you fall short of it, there needs to be criticism. Yay or nay?
Absolutely, yay. And I am not the biggest Steve Eiserman supporter. Those would be the Steve bots that are about to line up on the phone lines.
Hold, please.
That's correct. Derek Lalone was on the morning show, I think it was yesterday, and he was talking to the guys, and he said something that I found very interesting. Remember how the Red Wings were flirting with that playoff spot last year? Yeah. Well, he said that they replaced 6 starters, 6, and all 6 of those guys are not even in the NHL anymore. They are AHL players. Great. That means you've improved either half of your forward core or all of your defensemen if you want to just narrow it down to 6 players in your starting lineup. That means if you're 6 players better and you flirted last year and you added a potential 40-goal scorer, this team needs to make the playoffs or at least just fall shy.
Yeah, let's not get hung up in semantics. If they miss the playoffs by 2 points, I don't think anyone's going to scream and yell. No. We're talking about you can't not be in the graphic. You can't have a meaningless last 2 weeks of the season, 3 weeks of the season.
We're talking about the Ottawa series in the final week.
Yeah, it's time for this team to challenge a point total somewhere in the mid-90s. It's just time, because at a certain point, how long do you get? I mean, I understand the first couple of years was cleaning up Kenny Holland's mess and restocking the shelves. I mean, that's all fine. I don't want to do those shows.
Right, now you're waiting on guys like Raymond to
Right.
finally blossom and
Yeah, but
become that guy that you thought he was going to be.
But it's time.
Yeah, year 3, yes.
248-539-9797. David, you seem poised to speak. Yes.
I hear everything that Kenny's saying, but again, everything I read says they're 7th in their own division.
Yeah, but who cares about what you read? We know the team better than some of these national publications.
That's what I'm wondering, though. I'm wondering if we do. I want playoffs, okay? I'm sick of not being in the playoffs. That's what I want. And if Kenny's correct and they've improved that much with the players that they've gotten over last year and we competed last year for a quick minute, for what, 18 hours or whatever it was.
7th?
That's what I'm seeing the prediction is. But if that's wrong, fine. I want to make the playoffs.
So just
Yes,
better than
it's
Buffalo.
playoffs.
That's about it.
It's
Wow.
playoffs or bust for me, period.
I'd like to know where the hockey elite is. This is your day, people. Play like a champion. Wings open up the season. It's a very exciting season. But this is where expectations begin now. And it's about not winning a division. It's not about setting a point total record. It's not about a President's Trophy. It's not about a Stanley Cup. It's about making the playoffs. And if you can't get it done now, then what the hell are we really doing? And again, if they fall 2 points short or something, we're clearly not talking about that. We're not talking about ripping anyone apart because they fell just short in a brutally difficult conference. Right. What I am talking about is if you're going to be in that mix, there should be time this year that you spend in the wild card, time you spend chasing the wild card, capturing the wild card, losing the wild card, getting the wild card. They have to be in the graphic. They have to be in the mix, and they got to be real. They can't be the hangers-on. They can't be the barnacle at the bottom of a boat. Hey, there's the Wings, 7 points out with 2 games left. No. That's what I'm talking
Just
about.
wait for the young guys to get up.
Yeah. Oh, we need a little more time. No, there is no more time because we're not asking for a lot. And in fairness, this town has given Steve Eiserman time. I think this town is very knowledgeable about their hockey, and he took over a brutal situation. But here and now, come on. Kenny makes a great point. When you shore up the depth of your roster and you get rid of it's a lot like when you have players transfer from your college football program and they end up at some hellhole like UTEP. Yeah. And then you replace those guys with dudes from Alabama. You got better. Mm-hmm. You replace 6 players who are now painting houses for a living with people who you paid to play hockey. You're better. You have a 40-goal scorer. Or if you're more comfortable saying with DeBrincat 30 or 35, you have one. It's time, isn't it?
It is. And you know what? I was going to say they had to, but I'll even go to the fact of, if you lose in the final week at that last playoff spot,
I'm okay.
It'll suck. But basically, if you can do what the Lions did last season, where you took it all the way to the final game.
I like that.
And you didn't make it. But, man, you knew we were right on the edge.
You know, it took him 10 minutes to warm the engines, David, but he's really made the best point of the segment. This year's Wings or last year's Lions? 248-539-9797. I like that.
Thank you.
I do. Zero smarm. But Kenny's right. We'll be inundated by excuse makers. And that just hurts my feelings. David, what's coming through on the ticket text as we celebrate? This is Kenny's day. Hockey's back.
Someone says, let's go Wings. Yes, it's definitely playoffs or bust this year. That is from Dave.
Oh, wait. We didn't draft the Russian kid. All right, go ahead.
Aaron in Plymouth, after being in the playoff picture right before the trade deadline last year, it's time to make the next step. Playoffs or bust, even though the Atlantic is the toughest division in the NHL.
How about another way to say it? Be buyers at the deadline. Put yourself in a position where you're at least thinking of buying. What's wrong with that?
I like that.
Paul in the D, concerning the Red Wings, yes, playoffs, or Eiserman does deserve a good bit of criticism if they're not in the playoff hunt.
And I think that's acceptable.
Mm-hmm. Fans are happy with just making the playoffs, and they will support Eiserman all day long. I don't want to just make it. I want to win. Maybe not this year. We aren't asking Stevie to make the conference finals, but We're in the same spot the Lions were in 6 months ago. Talent is there, and barring injuries, they have to be there. Nick in Oak Park.
Yeah, but here's the thing, too. And it's a cliche, but it's only a cliche because it's true. You make the playoffs when you come to hockey, and you never know what could happen.
Right, half the league.
Boston didn't think that they were going to be just, oh, wait, we're done? Yes, you're done. Take your President's Cup and go home.
Sign the Dodgers. 248-539-9797. Let's get in the mix. Hockey Elite. Steve Botch Unite. It's time. They got to make the playoffs.